Welcome to the Wow Factor Radio, brought to you by the Rocky Mountain Horse Expo. I am your host, Chris Garrett, and my guest today is Richard Horst of Three Forks, close to Bozeman, Montana. Welcome, Richard.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I'm glad you could call in today. I know you're getting a lot of snow up there right now. We watch the weather and think, man, I'm glad I don't live in Montana. You got to be a real cowboy to live on a ranch up there, don't you?
Yeah, you know, it's a lot of people when you live in the ranching industry and out where we do, pretty far away from Bozeman. It's get tough or die kind of weather. So we're ready for it to be over though.
There you go, getting up or die. I love that. All right. Now, I know that you have a lot of experience with horses. Mostly, you've managed some horse ranches and some outfitting companies, and you are connected to the movie Unbranded. But what I want to talk today about is more of your photography. But can you give us a little bit of background about you and who you are, and then let's talk about what you do with a camera.
Sure, I can do that. And okay, so the long and short of it is I've always been vested in horses, even when I grew up back east. I'm originally from Pennsylvania and grew up in a farming community there, even though my family was not first person involved with the farm, but we had a large farm that we leased out to farmers, and on that farm, my family's uncles and aunts and everything kept horses there, so I was always around horses, but I was never very fond of them because horses equated to work. And in summers, as kids growing up, we had to help either work at the quarry that my family had owned, or we could work on the farm, and I chose to work on the farm and then work on the quarry and alternate, and it was just taking care of things, and I wasn't real fond of it. My sister had horses at home, and because I was always an outdoorsman, and I was always up early, it was always, well, while you're up anyway, can you just take care of the horses? So all my life, horses only meant a lot of work and a lot of sweat and not so much fun when I didn't feel like doing it. Until I moved west, and there's a long story there, but we won't get involved in that. When we finally moved west, I got a job as a guest ranch manager. And then I started to immerse myself in horses, and I started to see the light of what they could do for me as a person, because I was always infatuated with the mountains in the West, and I always wanted to go exploring in the mountains because that's where I feel at home. That's where I feel at ease. And the more I was around horses, the more I was around good, honest horsemen, mountain men who could show me how to use horses in the mountain and build a relationship with horses, the more I could explore, the more I could get immersed in the areas and the things that interested me, which was the Rocky Mountains. And through that relationship with these individuals who knew the mountains and individuals who knew horses, I began to see who I wanted to be, and it just took me to the places I wanted to go. So I fell in love with the horses, and from then I just dove in head first, and through horses I met my wife, and we managed the guest ranch together. I got into the outfitting aspect of things. Yes, there was hunting, but more so there was the pack trips, the summer pack trips of taking people to wild places on horseback over multiple days and just spending time in the mountains with the horses.
Now, you've said to me that you are a horseman who wishes he was a full-time photographer. So is it that connection to the wild and to the big open spaces where you learned to love photography?
Absolutely, yeah. In a nutshell, yes. Backstory is, in high school, I took all kinds of photography classes. Had a darkroom in my mom and dad's basement bathroom, you know, because nobody uses the basement bathroom, right? So I'm like, hey, can I build a darkroom? So I was into the black and white photography thing, you know, because color darkrooms back then were way too expensive. So it was black and white photography, but I was always taking images. Got to college, got involved in some other things, and kind of got away from photography. And then after college, got involved in careers and police work and private detective stuff. And then when I moved west again and started doing the pack trips, I've always had a passion for wildlife, and I always had, you know, a pocket camera, and I started taking pictures. And I started taking pictures for guests. Then I bought a little bit better camera because people said, hey, you know, if we could do that, we could do this, we could use that for marketing materials. Bought a little better camera, started taking in more pictures. More interaction of people, horses, and wildlife. and that evolved into better cameras and more things. And then I'm like, I had this passion, and now I'm revisiting this passion, and I'm getting involved in this passion that just led to better cameras, more pictures, more people, more horses, more wildlife. Up until about 4 or 5 years ago, my wife was like, look, you spend so much of your idle time involved in this passion, you need to do something with it. And I'm like, okay, I will. My wife's like, do this. It's all you talk about. And look what you've done with me and my horses, and look what you've done with Val and his horses. Look what you've done in the backcountry with the wildlife and the horses back there. And with this big push from my wife for me to chase something that I was so passionate about, evolved into where I am today, and continues to evolve, which led to our conversation now, is I understand the horse, I understand wildlife, I understand the camera, and I have this kind of ability to put it all together and create honest, real images of people doing real things with the relationship with horses, and that's kind of where I'm at today.
Well, I have seen some of your work, and you do have an incredible way of capturing, like you said, the real image. I've seen some of the images you have of some Bighorn sheep that are, it makes you feel like you're actually there. Where did you find them? Is that up by where you live in Montana?
It is. I spend a lot of time, I don't go to the national parks as much as some people think I do. I love the parks and what they can offer you. I don't like the crowds and the people, so I spend a lot of time working with the biologists here in Bozeman and some of the other people I know that spend a lot of time afoot in the backcountry. So a lot of my images are of wild sheep, and not sheep that are used to people, but sheep that are found deep into the backcountry. And I'm very proud of the sheep and the goat images that I do, because I love big country. I love the high country. So I built relationship with these animals, and I don't know, I feel comfortable there, and I guess they understand that. They feel comfortable with me, and that allows me to get some of the images I do, and it's an incredible thing. And I wish that more people could experience it and come with me, but I do some crazy things to get some crazy pictures, so a lot of people get uncomfortable real quick, but it is truly about the wildlife and the horses are truly the passion.
Well, there are some beautiful, beautiful images I've seen that you've done. Now, I've also seen some fantastic work you did at one of Aton's cowboy dressage shows and clinics of people and their horses, and you have such an interesting eye for angles and composition. Now, I know you've taken a lot of pictures of your wife, Dolly, but then you've got people clamoring for your work also there. Will you have that kind of work available at the expo? Absolutely, yeah, and it's because I work so closely with horse people and horsewomen, my wife, and I understand the rider and the horse relationship and the partnership that they build. I know what to look for at the right time, and I'm fortunate enough to have captured that for many people that are in the showing and the competition realm. And I understand how to find the angle to get that feeling across, and people appreciate that and want that, and I'm glad I can provide that. It's just a knack of being involved and around the horses and the training aspect of it, and then seeing that evolve into the competition, relationship, partnership. I know where to be, I know what I'm looking for, and it's, you know, I have the equipment that allows me to get that image at that time, and I like to say it's a real image of a real emotion, and it comes through in the images, and people are happy, and it makes me happy to make those people happy. So the short answer is yes, I will be there taking pictures of anyone who solicits me to go ahead and capture them with their horse competing. So I know you will have a booth at the expo so people can look for you, but do you have a website or somewhere where people can go see some of your work? Sure, absolutely. It's www.richardhorsephotography.com, and you can go there. And then I'm on Facebook as well. It's just hit Richard Horst in your search, and I will come up. And there's also Richard Horst Photography LLC on Facebook as well, and that's the business page. Pretty easy to get a hold of. Google me. It'll come up, Richard Horst Photography or whatever. And come by and see me at the show, because I love to talk horses. Love to talk photography. And it's just, I'm really looking forward to it, because it's a big expo,
a lot of like-minded people there, so it should be a fun time.
Now, I know you're connected to the movie Unbranded. Can you tell us how you got involved in that and what is your connection?
Yeah, sure. Wow, it's such a small thing to turn into this just beautiful, awesome film. I know Val Geisler very well. My wife and I have a very special relationship with Val. He and my wife have this wonderful horse bond and connection that evolved into a very personal and intimate relationship between the three of us. He's like a father figure to us, and you know, we have that relationship with him. It all started around horses, but he met Ben in the backcountry when Ben was riding through with another friend, and Ben had this incredible idea to make this movie of this ride from Mexico to Canada. And through our relationship with Val, we started a friendship with Ben, who understood that we know horses and we know people and all that stuff that's intermingled between the two. And when Unbranded kind of came to fruition and started to happen, which was done by a film company here in Bozeman, we were like the kind of a good fit for Ben to help him out after the trip and to help him with his horses after the trip, and to give some insight on the people aspect and what people are going to see in editing down this film. So we were asked by the film producers and Ben if we would help in some of the editing format and formulas and that kind of thing after the movie. But it all happened because of the relationship between Ben Masters and Val, who we had a relationship with Val, and we've all now become very good friends, and it just turned into this wonderful thing.
Well, I know they are going to be playing the movie Unbranded at the Expo, so for those of you who have not seen it, you will have the opportunity to see it there on the third floor, the top floor of the Hall of Education, and just check your schedule to find out when that will be playing. And I am looking so forward to seeing the other photography work that you're bringing with you to the Expo, as well as meeting you in person. So we will see you in just a few weeks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm in my final stages of putting the booth together and trying to find, I only have room for 36 images, so I'm trying to narrow that down, and that's just a tough thing to do, but I'm excited. I'm excited. I've met a lot of people through the movie, and through this interview I'll probably meet a whole bunch more people, and I finally now met you, and I'm looking forward to getting everybody together and just having a good time.
Well, we'll give you a good Rocky Mountain welcome when you get here. I'm so looking forward to it. And thank you for taking the time to be with me today and letting me know a little more about you.
You bet. I appreciate the time.
And we'll see you soon. And thank you for joining us at the Wow Factor Radio. Join us again next time for a brand new show. This is Chris Garrett. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.